Go.
Andrew Smith is an acclaimed author of many YA novels. Some of his works include Winger, The Marbury Lens, 100 Sideways Miles, and his book Grasshopper Jungle, which won the Boston Globe Horn Award and is a Michael L. Printz Honor Book winner. I have recently read Grasshopper Jungle and have enjoyed it very much. So, Mr. Smith, in a lot of novels, authors try to inspire the readers. What were you trying to inspire your readers to do or think about in Grasshopper Jungle?
Two things. To think about history, about where we came from, and to think about where we're going, not the other two things. You just blushed, Henry.
Great. How do you write the separate storylines, like Austin's history, and how do you tie it with what is happening in the main plot?
Well, you know, when I write, I like to keep myself engaged as a writer, and so to do that, I like to kind of make puzzles. So I purposely try to throw things into my writing, and so that it forces me to have to kind of weave them together and work them out. I don't outline in advance, and I don't really plan things. So when I start sending something off in one direction, I know that ultimately I'm going to have to bring it back. And it was fun. It was a fun thing to write.
In Grasshopper Jungle, why are the unstoppable soldiers praying mantises?
Well, I really don't like bugs very much at all, and bugs are in a lot of my books. But I do think praying mantises are really cool, and so I've always thought, like at one point, I think Austin even says, if praying mantises were the size of grizzly bears and they got into a fight, the grizzly bear would lose every time. So I thought, what could be a better killing machine other than a praying mantis, except they don't fly very good, which is, and they don't in the book either, and in reality they don't fly very good either. So they're working on their evolution still, I'm sure.
Yeah. Grasshopper Jungle is a sci-fi book, but do you think there might be some reality in it?
Yeah, I like to think of my books as not being necessarily science fiction or speculative fiction. I like to think of them as being frighteningly plausible. And I think that Grasshopper Jungle and The Alex Crow are both kind of frighteningly plausible books.
In Grasshopper Jungle, the book discusses homosexuality and sex in general. Why do you think that it is okay for YA novels to discuss these topics, but in the past it is not?
Well, first of all, why do I think it's okay? Just the fact that society has led people to make questions that have constructs like, why do you think that's okay? Means that it's necessary, and maybe not okay, but it's necessary because sexuality is something that's a very important force in adolescence. You don't know this yet, but and I think that it's something that needs to be explored honestly, without hang-ups, without all of the centuries and centuries of filters and constraints that we put around young people that make them feel guilty about something that's just absolutely normal part of human existence.
I have read that you didn't want to publish Grasshopper Jungle, but then you did. Why did you change your mind?
Oh, because of this man named Michael Barrett. He's an evil man. He's my literary agent, and he kind of made me feel a lot better about where I was in my life and what I was doing as a writer. And he wanted to read it, and I wasn't going to show it to anybody else. He wanted to read the book, and then he fell in love with the book, and he kind of got me back. He talked me down from the ledge that I was on. And the other reason is that year when I wrote it, I had just taken my son away to college. I had driven him away to college, very far away from home, and it was a really tough time for both of us because we're super close. And during his first year of college, my son wrote, right away when he started, he wrote me an email and he asked if there was anything that I had written that I hadn't shown him yet, because he would really missed reading stuff of mine. So I said, okay, I'll send you this crazy thing. And I said, but after you read it, and it was Grasshopper Jungle, I said, after you read it, you have to let me know whether or not you think I need to go see a therapist. And my son read it in one day, and he just totally loved it. So between the combination of my son and Michael Barrett, a very, very evil man, who I love very much, I decided to allow it to go out there.
I just picked up your newest book, The Alex Crow. What should I expect from it?
You should expect a lot of craziness and frighteningly, possible, plausible things coming out of it. Some of the things that I wrote about in it actually later, have started to come true. And there were things that I didn't necessarily research about, what's going on, what's going to happen next, and then these things started happening. But structurally, it's kind of the opposite of Grasshopper Jungle, because Grasshopper Jungle starts in a really small place with two friends skateboarding in an alley, and then it just blows up in all of these directions. And the Alex Crow starts in all of these, extremely disjointed, separate places in time and space. And then they all kind of implode. They come together in this very small pinpoint of the life of this 15-year-old boy, the narrator, named Ariel, who's a survivor from a war-torn country that he barely makes it out of alive. And he ends up in the insanity of 21st century America. He goes from one insane place to another insane place that's equally as insane, but insane in a different way. The United States of America. Here we are.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. I am Henry Cox from Little Shop of Stories, and this is Andrew Smith.
Thanks, Henry.
Thank you.
Rock.